Hey, what's up guys? This is T-Bone here. Welcome back to another episode of playing Legendary Game of Heroes. So in today's episode, I'm going to be talking about two different ultimate forms. The first one is going to be the Lost Kingdom Guardians, which is the ultimate form from the season. Now, you've heard me talk about this card a lot, and I've been using the Master Collection card version AGA. So I finally decided to use my coins to craft it, and I think that it is well worth the coins because it is a very good utility card and it is very powerful. And the other one I'm going to showcase is the Reaping Royalty, which is the ultimate form for this season, for this particular event. I got lucky in the side pack, so I managed to pull one, the ultra rare card, so I was able to forge the ultimate form, and so I'm glad that I'll be able to showcase both of these cards and showcase sort of number one, how the whole team works, and number two, what is the best combination that I've been using to get damage. So let's take a look and see at the different variations. So the first version I wanted to show you actually is this setup that I have, which is very similar to how I had set up the previously with United Taurus as the leader, Defiant Duet to increase power gems whenever I use turn delay, Jailers as the leader, and then Hard One Gorillas as the damage dealer. So what's nice here is I can use Lost Kingdom Guardians instead of throwing in Guad or the Wizardess, Consecrating Wizardess, because Lost Kingdom Guardians, in addition to creating power gems, it also gives a turn delay. So the turn delay will then get boosted by the Jailers. So it's almost as if I have two of the Jailer turn delay cards in there. With the exception, the difference is I could use off affinity power gems here so they don't get crushed. Instead, I get boosted power gems so that I can get a lot higher damage output. So let's take a look at with this version. So United Taurus is at 1 star. Now let's see how much damage we can deal. So from the previous event, I was dealing somewhere around maybe 25 to 30 trillion per hit for my Hard One Gorillas. Now let's take a look and see the difference with this setup. And so with the relics, what you want to do, of course, is you do want to still use, noble killers relics so that you can break the shields. And then after that, you do want to make sure that you get earth relics so that you can get the actually get the battle skills ready. Now on turn 2, you can use those on turn 2. So I'm just going to go ahead and activate in this order. So I'm going to activate the Defiant Duet first. Then I'm going to activate the Lost Kingdom Guardians, and then I'm going to go ahead and activate the rest of the battle skills. So you can see here we have some good power gem output here, and I'm just going to do a power gem swap, and let's see how much damage we can deal here. So we've increased our damage output to 67.5 trillion, which is pretty good here. What that is already more than double the increase, but I've also seen in some cases I've had up to 100 or so a trillion from my Hard One Gorillas, so it definitely is capable of dealing quite a bit of damage there. And so we're gonna run out of time here because I did want to try and do this one more time. But what's nice here is if you don't have the event ultimate form, I think getting the water ultimate form is still going to be a great investment for you. You can see here, you just need to play fast. Like you could probably get 2 or at least 2, maybe 3 attacks in here, and if you're able to revive, then you'll be able to deal even more damage. And so this is a very good setup here. And so if you change it up, if you now use the Reaping Royalty, where you're going to be able to get at least 900% damage boost. Let's take a look and see how much more damage this is going to deal. Now here's where I also want to talk about relics. This is something that I've sort of discovered that I thought is interesting. So you notice that I'm using different affinity relics here, in addition to the fact that I don't have all the earth ones. I also thought that by using the off affinity relics, what it's doing here is if I have a card that passively spawns power gems in the first turn, more often than not, they then get upgraded to converted to a different colored power gem. So I have a dark and also a fire relic in here. And since I have cards that passively create power gems, which is in the form of Reaping Royalty, it will passively create 4 power gem 4s. Some of them will get converted to a different color power gem, and that actually helps me later on. So with this setup, you could also use this as a 2-turn deck. I'm going to show you what it's like for 2 turns and also what it's like if you want to go with 3 turns. So first, you can see here I have 1 dark and 1 red. That's what I was talking about, so that I could, I could save these power gems and they will prevent my gems from getting further crushed, which is amazing, right? And now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to go ahead and activate my Defiant Duet. Then I'm going to activate the Lost Kingdom Guardians, and then I'll activate the rest of the the battle skills. And you can see I already have a 14 and a 10 here, so I'm gonna go ahead and do the power gem swap here. Unfortunately, I did this not in time, but you can see here it deals 420 trillion on its own. The Hard One Gorilla's dealt 420 before the nuke. All right, and so if you were to apply the nuke to it, that's going to be over 2 quadrillion damage with that. So you can see on turn 2, I was able to deal that much damage because I also took advantage of the fact that I have additional off affinity color power gem on turn 1. Now let's take a look and see what it'll be like if I were to do it on turn 3. Well, let's go ahead and play this team against the treacherous Maeve. And by the way, if you guys are looking for getting the quests, you don't actually have to kill these bosses on your own. You just need to participate. As long as the boss gets taken out, you'll get the credit for it. And so as soon as you see any of the bosses that you don't already have in your quest, just make sure that you tag it, and once it's taken out, you will get credit for it. All right, so let's take a look and see what this will be like if we wanted to play this turn 3. So with the Reaping Royalty, the way that this card works is you would either choose to activate it if you didn't dispel anything, or you would only activate if you didn't dispel. But if you've dispelled it, you'll see it and you're going to get the power gems that you're looking for. So here the boss is going to attack, and let's see, so it dispelled armor, and so I'm going to get my 6 power gem 5s, and so I don't need to wait anymore. So this is on turn 3. Now I'm going to get the 6 power gems plus 4 power gems on the beginning of the turn. And now this is the setup I have now. So let's take a look and see how much damage we can deal with this, and see if we can even take it out here. So we're able to go up to 43 trillion. This is off affinity. Okay, so we don't have the 10 times damage boost for going up against a water boss, and I was still able to deal 43 trillion. So if that were a water boss, it could potentially go up to about 400 trillion pre-nuke. All right, and so it is quite powerful. So you can play either way. I just feel that if you take advantage of a different affinity relic, you might be able to then just go in on turn 2 if you can get the off affinity power gem. That's what I think. So a little trick here. I think that it's been helpful for me, and hopefully this works for you as well. So in terms of the third version, I've been trying to get this deck to work, but I haven't really been successful here. I was really trying to showcase like what would happen if I could put in excuse me, if I could put in haunted hunters in here, which is a noble killer. And what it does is it gives you, immediately will create 6 power gem 4s, and also 100 noble killer intensity additionals for everyone. But what's cool here is if you have stacks of alchemized, you will gain damage boost. So 20% damage boost for every stack of alchemized for all noble killers. And so this could apply to my Reaping Royalty card. It's actually kind of interesting because if you are going up against armor, which is a debuff, then this will be less likely to be something that you can benefit from. But if you go up against a boss that gives that casts blind, or it casts, for example, poison, it actually works better, because what that does is it gives you the ability to control when you want to activate it. And so I'm going to talk about this one more time. I'm going to explain this again, because now that I've used it, I understand it a bit better. So Reaping Royalty, the battle skill is used to either cleanse a enemy debuff or to dispel one of the enemy buff. So what it will do is it will cleanse from it'll cleanse things like poison or blind or anything like that. But because it dispels armor on its own, if you go up against a boss that casts armor, then chances are you're going to dispel it. And when that does, it's a passive dispel, so you don't have any control. And because you've already dispelled it, the passive ability will automatically kick off. And when the passive ability kicks off, you're going to get 6 Power Gem 5s. Okay, so if you think about it, you're either going to passively get your Power Gem 5s, or you're not going to dispel anything. And if you don't dispel anything, then you don't create Power Gems. But if you have some debuff on you already at that point, then when you activate a battle skill, it's as if you then use the battle skill to create 6 Power Gem 5s. Does that make sense? Right? And you have control when you don't dispel anything. You don't have control when you do. Okay, and so the reason I'm making this comment here is because if I have Reaping Royalty and True Form Anli, which has the same same effect, where if I dispel something, I'm going to gain 6 Power Gem 5s. What I'm really doing here is I'm going to be able to get 12 Power Gem 5s on the board with this setup here. And if I do that, then I could choose to activate my Haunted Hunters and my Lost Kingdom Guardians, and then my Reaping Royalty afterwards. And then I could also use another card. Now, Tyburn is a card that upgrades, so I'm not quite entirely satisfied with this particular mechanic per se. And you could then do something like this. You could potentially use a different Earth card that gives you more Power Gems. And now this is not going to give you a lot of power, a lot of damage, but it can give you a lot of the Power Gems to help you upgrade. And that is going to be Abarca. Now this is a card that hopefully you have saved up. I'm gonna just try this out, and let's take a look and see if this works the way I expect it to. Now, in terms of relics, I do have to put in 2 light relics in here so that I could get the battle skill ready for the Haunted Hunters. And you want to keep attacking. The thing with Haunted Hunters, you have to keep attacking in order to build up the stacks. So I do only have the Reaping Royalty and the Ultra Rare card True Form Anli as the damage dealer. But let's take a look and see how this works out. Now, I also have haste, right, for my... What I have is haste for my Lost Kingdom Guardian, so I don't have to worry about building up the gem. I don't have to worry about matching gems for it. And now I have all the battle skills ready. So let's take a look and see. So unfortunately, we went up against armor, right? So this is where, okay, so I can't really take advantage of that, but I could do this. I could still activate both of these battle skills, and now I can go ahead and activate Abarca. So with this, what I have here is I have essentially done a an upgrade. I create 10 Power Gem 2s here, and then I now I have 44 and 35 trillion respectively from these 2 cards. And so if you think about it, this is one way you could power up your deck. If you go up against, this is what I'm saying, like if you go up against a boss that has like armor, you're going to find that it's less, you have less control. But if you do this opposite, if you go up against a boss that you don't have a counter for, we're going to look for one right now, actually. This Miraculous Dreamweaver will cast poison. So this is perfect for us to showcase how this mechanic would work. So I'm not looking to deal the most damage per se, but I am looking to see if I could use this skill to my advantage. So 2 things I have to do. Number 1, I have to make sure that I match enough gems so that I could get my light heroes powered up. And number 2, I have to make sure I match enough earth gems so that all of my earth cards battle skills are available. Okay, so now it is. Now we're going to wait for us to be hit by poison. And so now that we're hit by poison, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and activate the 2 non-earth cards. And now I'm going to go ahead and activate to cleanse. And see when I cleanse, I then create the what I did was I created the battle skill. Basically, I created the power gems through my passive ability. So I controlled when I wanted it to happen. And so with this, I was able to deal about a little bit more damage, about 51 and 41 trillions for a total of 90 trillion. Now, 90 trillion isn't a whole lot if you think about it in terms of compared to some of the other other damage we've seen, but mostly it's because it's coming from the nuke, etc. But with this, we could make this deal a little bit more damage, and if we were to get more stacks of Haunted Hunters ability there, we could deal even more damage. Now keep in mind, we didn't have any attack boost, right? We didn't have any attack boost like we did with jailers. We didn't have any attack boost like with golems. This is with a damage increase, but I think that if you can control when your battle skill creates the power gems, you can still work in the off affinity strategy into the game. And so the last thing I want to showcase is just like, if you were to use the full team, how would you really want to play it? So I'm going to use one of each. And so for this, what we'll do is, let's see, we're just going to go ahead and throw it in here. So we're going to use our full team here, and we're going to talk about each of the cards and what they do. All right, so this is without any off affinity cards, and we're going to talk about how this works. So because it's going up against armor, we're going to passively create a power gems. And the one thing that I dislike about this ability with the way Gem Crush works is that if you passively spawn enough power gems or gems on the board, such that it fills up the board before all of your gems are done spawning, it will continue to wait for them to spawn and then crush them all. So it doesn't crush as soon as it fills up, right? So you see here, it basically just kept going, and then it crushed. It would have been nice if it crushed as soon as it happened, and then and then let more power gems get created. But that's what it is. So now I'm going to activate I activated support card so I can get more earth gems, and then I'm activating master collection card and also event card that gives me that gives me the power gem upgrade. And you can see I'm going up against a light card, so only 589 billion or so, but if you multiply it by 10, that comes out to about 5.8 trillion per card. So it's not that great, and the reason it's not that great is because there's not that many power gems on the board, and because there's just not that many gems for us to be able to use. So if you're using a full team, you kind of have to get away from this with the current meta. You have to throw in something that is something that is different than an earth card in this case, so that you could take advantage of the fact that you won't crush all of your gems, and that you could then overwrite some of them, hopefully, or at least maintain some of your power gems so you can do more damage output. So that's going to be it for me for today. Hopefully this helps you understand the mechanics of this team a little bit better, some of the tips and tricks here, and also the variation that you can use that can give you the biggest damage, at least from what I've seen. I'm currently using this myself to good success. So hopefully this is something that you can use also. So have a great event. Good luck. Take care, and let me know in the comment below your feedback and thoughts about this. All right. Thanks a lot. Take care. I'll see you next time.